Okay, Hare Krishna. Greetings from Govardhan Bhakta Seva Ashram. I got to get a big sign for this. It's a happening place, and happening place. It's different. A happening place in the Dham. It's not just happening. There's kind of doors that open. I'm not going to get into now, but today I have to end. Excuse me. At 7:00, I have this wonderful opportunity. This person who came to my purā, it's Russian, but it's such big preachers. They have 300 organizers. That's not just the preaching, it's 300 organizers. And they really want to bring me in to educate these people. So somehow it's at 7:00. But it's happening. We're doing kirtan every night. This place got great acoustics. We get nice kirtan. And it's nice having people here. Now Champak's here with Damodar Vinod, Hemalata Radha, Siddheshri, Kishori Gopi, Samya Pras. That's from representatives from Burlington, Vermont. And Ladini Gopika. And yesterday, this guy comes, and I'll just tell you the story. He sits down, and Damodar Vinod met him at the Sri Rupa Seva Ashram, and told me he heard of you. Because people know, he's 42, he's initiated by Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta Swami, he's some kind of consultant business, and people heard of me mostly because the waves of devotion. So anybody is scholarly, anybody who studied Bhakti Shastri, they feel indebted by studying this waves of devotion. Even as I was with Shivaram Swami recently, who's a big scholar, and he 2-3 times he thanked me for that's an important book, he uses it. So I said, okay, he came and he sat, beautiful, if you want an emblem of what a pious man looks like, he looks pious. And he sits through the class, and then I ask, are there any reflections? And then he starts sharing on the point that I made, because I'm teaching the Antya-lila 1, that the entrance, the impossible tasks can be achieved by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I presented the Antya-lila how from different perspectives, it's possible. How different perspectives, from Prabhupada writing the Bhagavatam to Krishna's Kaviraj writing the CC, to the first story about the dog becoming, by the mercy of a Vaishnav. I mean, so many perspectives. And he just said, well, there's a verse at the end of the CC that explains this. Because the question is, how does a dog who takes shelter of Vaishnava get? And it was this incredible analysis of this verse, the next to last verse in the CC. I can't even go through it, but it was talking about God and the holy places. Devotion is like a fragrance that emanates from them. So when there's a fragrance, it affects everything around you and you get benefit of it. And it was just beautiful. And then, even though he didn't want anyone to know, and therefore I'm not going to give his name, he didn't want anybody to know, but somehow or other Damodar Vinod spoke to him and mentioned that he didn't want anybody to know. He says he doesn't have a Instagram, a YouTube channel, but he's very, very learned. And I have a way of prying. And is your family learned? And then his family were the first Brahmin class, I don't know where they were from, that settled in Govardhan at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the 6 Goswamis. And it all goes back to this Govardhan Das, who was a close associate from Lord Chaitanya. So his family goes back 18 generations to the 6 Goswamis in Govardhan. And he explained how they wound up in Mumbai, because Aurangzeb, the Hindu-hating king, at one time made an announcement that I'm going to kill all the cows, all the Vaishnavas, all the Brahmins, and my soldiers will be successful when the Jamuna River turns red. But oh my God, I just want to see one thing here. Okay, anyway, okay, Kalachan, you're here. He told, and Henry, of course, and he told a story about Tamal Krishna Maharaj that was just kind of, it's one of the best Tamal Krishna Maharaj stories I ever saw, but it wasn't. So I said, okay, he said, yeah, in my family. I said, was anybody that was renowned? Oh, yes. Vipin Bihari, my maternal uncle. This wasn't Bhaktivinoda Thakur's guru, but Vipin Bihari, my uncle, was famous all over India as one of the greatest scholars. And he said, well, there was a time that, he was younger than Prabhupada, even though like Prabhupada would have been like 130 now or something, It'd be like Prabhupada would have been about 130 if he lived. So, maybe he was like 20 years younger, maybe the next generation. So maybe he was 60 and Prabhupada was 80 or something like that, or in his 50s. Something like that, I can't. But anyway, he decided he'd like to see Prabhupada, the one who had spread Krishna consciousness. So many people want to see Prabhupada that there was a line of people, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj at the door, and he would give everybody 3 minutes. So while he was there, the governor of Maharashtra wanted to see Prabhupada. He drives up, and if you know Maharashtra, the political leaders are also the head of the mafia. So he says, I'd like to see Prabhupada. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said 3 minutes. And the guy got so upset. He told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you know who I am? I'm the governor of this state. And with a movement of my hand, you'll disappear. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Anyway, that's all he got. He was livid. And then this Bihari, his maternal uncle, his father's older brother or something, came in. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj came in, the 3 minutes are up. And Prabhupada said, cancel all the other appointments. And he took lunch with him and he spent time. And what was nice about this guy is, even though he's the 18th generation, he went to London for work and he's a consultant. He hasn't lost that samskara. That was the thing. He had such high samskaras, so much humility. Comes to my class, he's because he's 42, 44, sits here very humbly in my class, doesn't want, and maybe on Nityananda's appearance day, maybe we'll go to Sri Rupa Seva Kunj, and maybe he'll speak. So I thought that was interesting. So we're kind of on a roll, and with Hemalatrata and Siddheshri and Parmananda and Kana, we were walking around every day at 7 o'clock. Just go right outside and get that relationship with that holy, that hill. And you really develop some bandha. We go around the hill. You go around the hill and you meet the sadhus and the, just the pilgrims, and it gets some incredible feelings here. It's a special place. And I'm so happy to develop this ashram. Samantha Kishori Gopi's here. She just to let you know, she's coming to the class here. She mentioned you to me the other day. Okay, so I have about 15 minutes, so what I'll do is I'll read a verse from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, and what I'm going to do now is I experimented with something, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach this now on Sunday and Wednesday. And I do it in a way that if you can come once a week, I always review, but if you can come twice a week, you'll get a little bit more depth on some of the things. That's all I can say. So, verse 30 of the second book, the first chapter of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. And what I can do now, because we haven't studied for a while, and you understand that it's been a little bit lull in our classes because it's been a little bit lull in our classes because I've been having these retreats for about 2 weeks, and it makes the Sundays a bit awkward. But so what I'm going to do is start with text 35. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Vipro niṣkiñcanaḥ kaścit purā prāgjyotiṣe purā vasann ajñāta-śāstrārtho bahu-draviṇa-kāmyayā. Long ago in the city of Prāgjyotiṣa there lived a poor Brahmin. He was ignorant of the teachings of Scripture, and he hankered after abundant wealth. Prāgjyotiṣa. No, that's not the verse. What is it? What? What is it? Tasyeva heto priyateta kovido talabhyate yad brahmatam uparyata talabhyate dukavad ajñāta-śāstrārtho kalena sarvacha gambira amrita. Something like that. That an intelligent person, he searches for that which has meaning. He doesn't wander every place. Meaning can be found anywhere. Of course, for meaning, we may change our job, we may change our ashram, we may change our location. But that's why we change. We search for meaning. And Jai Jagannath gave a seminar where he explained this very beautifully, that, we're in circumstances, and there's a greater circle of meaning. And when you get educated, you come to the platform of meaning, so you have a frame of reference to understand your circumstance. Otherwise, it has no impact, no value to you. You don't learn anything from it. So the whole thing is coming to the platform of meaning. I think, just to go back to story, that the first story was about, it's to prepare to free one from misconceptions. The progressive Shastra does two things. It educates you and purifies your heart. Without education, you'll misunderstand things. Without purity of heart, you'll filter them through your own desires. So, there's a progressive education and purification of heart in the Bhagavatam and in learning and education. You don't start at the top, because you'll be hearing the truth, but you won't be understanding the truth. You don't have the frame of reference, you don't have the education, you don't have the purity of heart. So you'll be hearing the truth, but you won't be hearing the truth. He quoted a verse yesterday. Dehepatyakali tradishu atmasanyeshva satsvapi tesham pramatta niranam pashanapi napashyati. We see, but we don't see. So, the first story we all went through, we had such a Hemalatarana, you were there for the whole thing practically. We went through that whole, this is the process. Otherwise you don't advance. You don't hear from Guru regularly, hear from Vaishnava regularly with faith. That's the process. Otherwise we stay in our own limited frame of reference and see the world through our own desires and our own misconceptions, and we just become completely bewildered, right? So a higher perception, and we go through it's not that we don't go through our karma. It's not that we don't go through the ups and downs and the changing and the, the conflicts, but we're much more reaching a platform of meaning, so that they can be put in our consciousness in a positive way, rather than just a reactive way that entangles us more and more and more. I'm not going to mention names, but there was an incident where someone was doing something for something. The person asked them if it was ready, and the person reacted to it, And I wasn't that happy, because we had such a good mood of 100% cooperation and community. But somehow or other, the person who reacted then apologized. So I was very happy with that. And I want to reinforce that, because there's that Chinese proverb for a minute of anger, there's 3 years of toil, or something like that. You say, once you respond, when you react to things, that's why Rupa Goswami, they wanted to start a fight with him. He just signed the paper, you defeated me. But we fight to the death, and then we get entangled, and then we get on threads and the internet, and we hold grudges, and we, better here, you defeated me, I'm wrong, Hare Krishna, accept, I'm sorry. So I saw that exchange, I was so happy, because it could have been one of those things, and then another person in your life who you don't like, you create your own enemies, right? Then there's another person that you like and don't avoid, and then, then when you go to your sangas, you go to the Sanga, and instead of meditating on Krishna, there's this person that did this to you, and this person that did this to you, and this person is looking at you, and so we're so foolish that we get so entangled in the world like this. But anyway, to make a long story short, this narration was being narrated by Jaimini Rishi to Janamejaya. He was the grandson of Maharaj Bṛhad, Janamejaya. It's being narrated to him. And what's being narrated is the story of the extended Bhagavatam. After the Bhagavatam was spoken, then Maharaj Bṛhad summarized it to Mother Uttara. But some summary, again, doesn't mean, like a Cliff Notes. It means condensing it in another form, which the same message is there. The form is different, but they're concerned with the message of the Bhagavatam. And she wanted to hear more. Jaimini Rishi wanted to hear more, and lucky for him, Janamejaya wanted to hear more, and lucky for him, Maharaj Pariksit didn't finish. He finished one story, but there was another story that he had to tell about Gop Kumar. So he finished the first story of Narada Muni, and now he's going to continue a second story. And then Jaimini Rishi, said, boy, this is confidential stuff. I already explained to the highest devotees, and now to really explain the place which facilitates that love. That's what Uttara wanted. Said, okay, I heard about these high devotees. I want to know what kind of place, what kind of spiritual destination kind of facilitates, what kind of spiritual destination facilitates this type of love. So that's what she wanted to know. And so Jaimini Rishi said, yes, the dialogue didn't end, it's very confidential, but because you're a loyal disciple, because you have that faith, I can share you things that will expand your consciousness, which may be a little bit beyond your frame of reference, but because you have faith in me, you'll think about them and understand them. And I generally won't give them because people just reject them. Because Jnaninas Tattvadarshana, the guru, the teacher, sees the truth, we don't. So the truth will not necessarily conform to our perception of the world. And if we don't have faith, we won't use our intelligence to figure it out, to catch up to reality. We'll stick with our own limited sense of reality. So he said, you're loyal, I'll tell you. And then he begins to tell the story of Mother Uttara just saying, I want to know about that place. Because it's very important. People go to heaven, they go to higher planets, it's Maratapaloka, Vaikuntha. I want to know the place. I really want to know about the place where this love is, and I'll be very disappointed after explaining to me in the story of Narada Muni about Sri Radha and about the gopis. You really explained to me how exalted they are above anything else, how you explain that to me. I will be very disappointed if there's not some higher reality and higher place that facilitates this unprecedented love. And then Maharaj Pariksit says, this is like an incredible question, Mom. This is a great question. I love your question. And I can answer, and the reason I can answer it is because I got so much mercy in my life. I got mercy in my death. I got mercy in my birth. I got mercy in my life. I had a guru, Sukadeva Goswami. So I can answer this for you. But I'm not taking credit. I'm just repeating the order of my spiritual master. Basically, he says that. I have this understanding. Mom, I can tell you about it. And I'm uniquely qualified to tell you about it. I'm uniquely qualified because of my life. And it's so beautiful. He's the genius of Sanatana Goswami. I think I didn't go over it, but Maharaj Pariksit just summarizes his life, which is another beautiful.
2 minutes.
Yep. To be continued. I'm really sorry. I have to go to this other class, but now I'm going to do Wednesday and this, and we'll get into it. I don't even have time to say hello or anything like that.